Okay, so in this video I'm going to show you how to rebuild the gearbox for an R35 BMW. See the completed engine over there. Right, so first things first, you get this set of gears in here first. Put the thicker end or the bigger cog down at an angle, just drop it in. There we go, down like that. And we line up this shaft to sit on a minute, put it right through of course. Next we put in this one. Now this is it's just been rebuilt, got new bushings on there. I'll show you what that bush looks like. So on here we've got one of these, bronze bush. The oil grooves in it, that slots on there of course. Then these two gears ride on it. And then you'll see it's held in place by this, tucked down in there, there's a silver split ring. Let me go move out of the way, you can see that better. It took me ages to figure out what the exact order of this is, so hence why I'm showing you. So we've got the split washer, the split ring, and then we've got another split ring up there, and you notice there's a recess down in this one, which then, so the split ring doesn't affect it, so you have to get that in tight. Then we've got the bronze washer, and we've got this bushing here, which is steel. They are really difficult to get on and off those things. I've got 3 or 4 spare ones off of broken shafts or things. Sometimes you have to cut these off, if not you just have to heat the thing up so high. It's very difficult to get a puller that's that thin and long to grab hold of that in there without snapping it. Of course it's not easy to get a 3 jaw on it into 4 or something. It's just awkward, those things. If not, you might be able to get I've got a pair of mole grips in like that, heat it up, put it in a vise, whack it down with a hammer that side. Seem to do the job. Right. This one goes in next, so this is part 2. Slides in here. Notice there's no bearing on that side or the other end. That gear just about fits through that hole. Before you put it in, actually, need this big one. Select the teeth facing that way. On he goes. Right, now before you put this through the hole, you now need to insert this one. All the way around. There we go. That way around, and onto its shaft. So that all goes through. Once that's all through, tidy up by doing this, then hold it all up out the way with one hand, select the gear shaft, the bottom shaft with the other, jiggle them around. This does take a bit of a fiddle, I must say. It's a pretty annoying thing to do. Just wobble that around until you can get a fit. This might take a few minutes. Goes in. Right, so that's through, and you want this whole thing here now left as loose and rattly as possible. So I've tried this a few different ways, and this is the only way I can do it. So leave that all wobbling around, and I'll tell you why, because getting this next thing in is a real bugger otherwise. So line this up. This is obviously the kickstarter and ratchet. So do that. So push that down in there, make sure it's locked in place. This sometimes falls off these splines, so move it around a couple of splines and see if you can get one that holds on a bit tighter. They do vary for some reason. Assemble it and push it down in the hole, like so. A little tap down. I'm not quite sure what these holes are for yet. I'm sure it will come to me soon, but they don't appear to do much. Maybe they're for helping install it, I'm not sure. Got a little tap down. Let's put this back over. Now we've got a wobbly secondary shaft here, but at least we can get that, hopefully, wobble it around a bit more assembled. There we go. It must rest on. There we go. It's just loose now. Look, it's in the correct place. Let's line up these best we can. Like so. Okay. It's not a question. It's really just a question of jiggling it around. There we go. Look. Till. Go back to the camera. Hopefully you can see down in there. It's basically they all line up neatly with their appropriate gears. Now here, got some shims I made. These don't. I mean, the ones that it suggests in the manual show you. It's just got these funny looking shims, very thin brass, but I decided to make my own, but you can buy them. Just take a bit of play out of it because it seemed to have a lot of lateral play, this did. So first thing I'm going to do is get this shaft, bottom shaft, through a bit more, like this. Make sure this is on its, that steel bushing that's awkward to get off. Make sure these aren't selected. Then we'll put the shim in. That's really nice to put there, just put it around that way. Followed by the bearing. With a dent in it, but we'll be alright. Pop that in there, ready to go in. Wobble him in a bit. And spin it around. Get this one next. And you'll see on this there's a shim on there as well. Now, if you notice on the bearings that I'm using, these are seal bearings. If you aren't using seal bearings, you've got the original ball bearings. You would have had another piece of metal, which I haven't got handy. Let's see if I can find it for you. I'm sure it's kicking around. Oh, it's gone. But there was an original, there was a piece of plate basically that covered up the balls in the old ball bearing. Anyway, so that's that. Now this should go, I'll spin it around so you can see. There we go. So this now should go through here. Line up neatly. Spin that around and get those all lined up. Like this. And the next one. Of course, I'm going to cheat and use the screw gun. But you don't have to watch me boringly spannering things away. Right, we've got a bit of lateral play there, of course, which will disappear once we get this bearing pushed in. There we go. Just things like that. The case is a bit warm, by the way, in case you're wondering to yourself, ooh, you managed to get that there and easy. It must be super strong. There we go. You can see that's all assembled. You can see that those two shafts aren't locked together. You can also see that the kickstart is turning. You can hear it there. You notice that when you turn it that way, did you hear it click? There we go. And now you can hear that that's disengaged the kickstart. Let's re-engage that drive gear. And then here you can see where the selectors will go onto there, below the gear lever. And so obviously this will come over here. Select one of the gears, which will engage drive there. Switch the kickstart off. There we go. And then over to the next gear, which is that one. Back into neutral. And into that one. And then into direct drive. That one. Which is pretty much one-to-one gearing by the looks of it, not far off. That's fourth gear that side, you see. Sorry, first gear that side. And fourth gear that side. Third. Second. And first. There we go. So all that needs to be done now is I'll just tap that in a bit. Yes, I know it's a metal hammer. Maybe gentle. There we go. Keeps that nice and safe. Just connect the kickstart. There's the kickstart mechanism you can see over here. This is ready to go on. You can see that there's no lateral play at all, but there's a nice easy movement. Gears are all nicely lined up, so there's plenty of meat on each gear that engages. These move freely, but they've got enough space to centralise. So overall, I think that should work quite well. We'll find out in due course, of course. And that's it.